Good morning, good morning, good morning, community. How are you? Jenenne Macklin here, transformational speaker, your wealth guide and catalyst. How are you on this electoral Monday? Wow, who knew the electoral vote would be so significant, huh? You know, I have to give you some color. Beauty, beauty, beauty all around us. Look at there. Yay. This is the day. I mean, last time we were pissed off about the electoral vote. This time we're like, okay, what is it going to say? Because we know that at that point we can move closer to the next step in spite of is he the incumbent? Party president needs to leave so somebody else can come in. So this is probably the first time many of us are paying attention to the electoral vote. At least I know I am. It's Monday. Yay! How are you? How are you, East Coast? Is it cold and chilly over there? West Coast, we're cool. We're cool. These 41s are getting our attention. You know, we can manage it though. And how are you? I am Jenenne Macklin, transformational speaker. Please hit me back with a hashtag replay when you come back here. Let me know you at least stopped by, what state you're in. How are you? How are you? Well, before I get into if you change this, you can have that. We're hopeful. We're hopeful because there's a vaccine. America is very clear that black folks aren't taking it. 42% of black folks said they're not taking it. It's a choice. So we'll all get to decide. I haven't even been tested because I've never had any symptoms. I'm just now thinking about going to get tested just to see what it has to say. But you can feel the energy kind of lifting up just a little bit. You can feel things rising, but we know we're not out of it. We know we're not in the clear. We know people are traveling. We know those people have to come back, and then we'll have to deal with the results of their traveling. So we're in this at least until February because we won't get all that data till people get back in January. Then they start getting sick. Then they'll start ending up in the hospitals, which will end up full. So somewhere around there, we'll actually really know what's going on. But today, I just want to hop on here right quick with the mindset to tell you, if you consider this, it might make life a little bit different for you. And that is, if you would be willing to change the way that you think about your life. Change the way that you think about your life. Change it. And how do you do that? Well, we do that by, I want to say, not navigating, but becoming aware of ego. Becoming aware of ego. Because so much of what is driving us is ego. That part of it, ourself, that thinks it's real, that thinks it created itself and it didn't, that thinks it may know more than that which is infinite within us. And we give a lot of power to it. And it ultimately determines what we think, how we think, what we say, and what we do. So when you change the way you look at your life, one of the first things you have to do is really get ego in check. Now, you've heard me say it before, as far as I'm concerned. Ego is that part that's trying to EGO, edge God out. God being defined by you. God being defined by you. There are so many names called for that presence, that energy, that entity, that I won't even get into that. But what we are clear of is that there's an aspect of us that thinks it created itself, thinks it pumps its own heart, thinks it's breathing its own breath. That's not true. It's called ego. Hello, my dear. How are you? I was thinking the other day I needed to learn French. Something came on TV, and I thought, how much time would it take for me to learn a foreign language while we're off? So I thought about that because of you still. But I want you to change how you think about your life. Change how you think about your life. Take a moment and think about it. Are you excited about it? Do you feel fulfilled with it? Is every moment something where you and ooh about the magnificence of God and what you see? I always show you nature because to me, it's that part that's infinite. It's that part, I say that's unchanging, but it's not. Because nature, the earth and the world All of this that we stand on is always changing. But how can you change the way you look at your life? Where are you critical about your life? Where are you giving your life and your life a hard time? Where are you minimizing the magnificence of your life and the magnificence of you? Where are you shortchanging your magnificence and forgetting your magnificence? Because ego may be telling you, oh, you don't have this, so you're not smart enough. Or you don't have that, so you're not good enough. Or you didn't do this, so you don't qualify. Or because you did this, you're not good enough. Or because you went to jail, because your credit card debt, because you didn't do this, this, and this. Ego is telling you all that. But if you can change the view that you have of your life, change how you think about your life, and wrap it in something more magnificent, wrap it in something bigger than your experiences. Wrap it in that which is unchanging. Wrap it in that that's ever present. Wrap it in that has no sense of recognition of virus or sickness or any of that. What would your life be like? If you wrapped it in abundance and prosperity and not lack and fear and scarcity. If you wrapped it in faith instead of in fear. If you wrapped it in the strength and power instead of weakness. If you wrapped it in something bigger than the experience you may be in right now. Some of you may be sick. Some of you may be dealing with the virus. Some of you may not have the money you need. Some of you may not have the housing you need. Some of you may not have the food that you need. Because that's, life right now is about the basics. Do you have a place to stay? Are you warm? Do you have the food that you need? And do you have the medical services? Life is real simple. I mean, the TV wants to make it, it's the same. Let's go shopping. Let's go buy this. Let's go buy. Life ain't like that anymore. Life has changed. It is requiring and demanding something different from us than what we did all the years before we were confronted with this transformation and this evolution on the planet. So life is different. Let's accept that. And the thing about it being different is that it's less. It's less. It costs less to live life because what we're doing is less. We spend less. We're home more. It's less. What it is more than anything else is it's internal. You turn within. You sit in the silence. You sit in stillness. You pray. You become more analytical and you listen within. But you get ego out of the way. Ego wants to tell you, you got to buy this. Ego wants to tell you have to have this. You got to do this. The world has downshifted. If you drive a stick, and you downshift, I love to drive sticks, it slowed down. So please do not use the old tactics that you had the years and years and years before in this new scenario. We are still in a midst of transformation. And I do believe, I know T.D. Jakes said the other day, maybe the world slowed down so we could come to Jesus. I think the world slowed down so all of us could turn within to the magnificence that's within us. And whatever that power and presence is, that is within us. If we're willing to spend more time with that and anchor ourselves in that, then we'll feel stronger as we go through the midst of the storm. We'll feel stronger as this storm picks up. And if you're one who looks at the news, then you see about all the people leaving the planet, all the people dying. You see the people still protesting, the people still saying there's nothing going on. Don't wear your mask. So all that stirring up out there in the world. But in here, right here inside of you can be a calm. In here, there can be a peace. If you have a roof over your head, you have some clothes that you can wear, some food that you can eat, and something that you can do that would generate an income, even if you create a new business from home, then that's life right now. That's it. That's it. I see people getting on planes and flying. I'm not sure how come. I talked to my godfather who I have not seen him in a year. He's up north and I could not travel. He's 96. He wants to take the train down here. It's a 13-hour train ride. And I said, okay. But he's still checking. He's being very cautious about whether he's going to do that or not. So in this whole thing, what we have to remember is we all have choices. Choices about what we can do and cannot do. But part of why I believe it slowed us down was for us to change the way we think about our life, how we're living our lives, and connect it to something bigger than buying and spending and consuming. Buying and spending and consuming. It's like the roots of a tree, they say, are like, I don't know how many feet or whatever long, such that a tree could be on one side of the street, but the roots could go across. I need to look that up. But if that were true, the case, then we want to be like the trees. We want to anchor so deep down within the consciousness of oneness that we're not ruffled by what the ego says to us. Ego doesn't get our attention. Ego doesn't throw us into worry. Ego doesn't throw us into fear. Ego doesn't say, oh my God, what are we going to do? Are we going to be on the street? Or we don't have this, or we don't have that. We are always provided for when we're in a consciousness and awareness to receive. You've got to be in a consciousness and awareness to receive. You want to create practices for yourself. That's why your morning meditation is important. Your morning affirmations are important. Some of you may read the daily word in the mornings, but it's so important when you do that in the morning and anchor yourself deep down in something bigger than the circumstances that are going on out here. So how can you change the way you're thinking about your life right now? Do as you see it as a magnificent life. See yourself as having been blessed, that you do have the health that you do have. Do you see yourself having the friends that you do have? Do you see yourself having all that you do have in your home, in your huts, in your apartments, wherever it is that you live? How do you change the way you think about the life you do have? Because so much of what we're being bombarded with, if you're looking at the news, is people are letting go of life. They're letting go of that life force. I contend it was a force that the universe breathes into each and every one of us. As they shed the physical body because they no longer need it, then they step into the spiritual realm. But that's just a part of life. We know that's going to happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen. So how can you change the way you think about your life so you don't think your life is based on anything outside of you? It's based on what the job says. It's based on what your family says. It's based on what the world says. It's based on everything out there. It's not based on that. It's based on what you think about it. And if you think your life is magnificent, if you think everything's coming to you with grace and ease, if you think you're open to possibilities, if you think you're willing to accept new job offers, new job considerations, greater health, greater love in your life, greater joy, greater fulfillment, that your organs in your body are going to all work perfectly the way they're supposed to work. If you can change your thinking to that and then live in that thinking and anchor yourself in that thinking, just like these trees are anchored in the soil and they're not moving, you will be like the trees. When something comes, you'll just sway with it, but you won't break. Trees don't break. All the trees don't break. When the wind blows and everything, they stand strong. So how can you change the way you're thinking about your life right now? And if it's anything less than being magnificent, if it's anything less than being a special, one-of-a-kind design of the Creator, then you want to upgrade that. And if it's anything less, you also want to look at ego. Edging God out. What are the things that ego is saying to you? What are the things that you give ego control to say and do that ultimately disrupt your life, disrupt your happiness, disrupt your joy? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't know what we're going to do. Oh, this is so bad. Oh, this is terrible. I'm not going to have enough of this. I'm not going to have enough of that. Let me tell you something, baby boy and baby girl. You already have everything you need. It's been provided in each and every one of us. It was given to us from the beginning. I think you guys can hear me. That's different, right? It was given to us from the very beginning. We came here with everything that we need. It's right there inside of us. It's a matter of us tapping within, taking the time for prayer and meditation, not hitting it on the run while you're walking out the door. Oh, God, thank you for everything that you give me. Oop, let me get in the car. I got to turn the car. And you get in the car, you turn the news and the music. Now you forgot your prayer. No. Get from over here. You're the ones. See, that's the control that you have. You're the one that's controlling what happens in here, what you think in here. Change the way you think about your life. Be able to move to a place to recognize my life is magnificent. It is governed by a divine power and a divine presence bigger and greater than I am that keeps beating my heart, keeps breathing my breath way more than I do. So let me lean into that. Let me trust that. Let me stand on that. You have something called self-control. You have a brain. You can think. There's so many different ideas that may come to you in a moment that you don't realize that could generate some income for you, but you may just be thinking, oh, I just got to keep doing the same thing the same way. This whole period is about newness and new thoughts and new ideas and new considerations. Where else would you have the time to do that than now? In the years before this, you were constantly moving, constantly going, constantly spending, constantly in debt, constantly traveling, constantly. Now the universe has said, slow down. Change the way you think about your life. Your life is magnificent, and it's not based on the things. The things are the extras. Life is about your heart. Life is about your beingness. and how well you anchor yourself in that beingness. Life is about what you do for others. Most mornings, I read a book by, I can see the name, Wayne Dyer. And it's called Change Your Thoughts to Change Your Life. That's what it's called. And I was reading it this morning about something called God points. And it was so cute. But it was about how you build up virtue. How you build up virtue. It's a great book. If you want something to read, if you're not someone who reads the Bible, the Quran, and all the other magical and amazing books on the campus of the world, then it's a great book I'd recommend. I just downloaded it from Amazon. It's on my phone, so whenever I need a boost, I read it. Change your thoughts. Change your thoughts. Change your thoughts. There it is, to change your life. So I'm saying change the way you think about your life. It's not enough. It's not smart enough. I don't have this. I don't have that. Change the way you think about your life, okay? And then kick ego to the side. But we talked about God points, and he was talking about how in Wayne Dyer's life, he gave away more money, or almost as much money as he earned. How he did God points were to write certain things or say certain things to others. So the last thing I would offer in looking at your life is write a letter to yourself. How often do you honor you? How often do you acknowledge you? If you were going to send a letter, if you're one of those people that send letters to people, you're going to send a letter to someone to acknowledge them. What would it say? Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for this, and this, how you helped me or supported me when I was going through a difficult time. What would you say? So he would do that, okay, Car, as God points. And I thought, oh, isn't that great? But here's what I want for you. Before you go outside to everybody else, where's that family member right now during the holidays that you've been mad at for forever? Huh? Where's that person? Can you send them, I'm sorry? Can you send them a letter? Who in the family are you mad at? That ego keeps telling you, oh, it's okay for you to stay mad at them because they did this, and this to me. Who is that person? Including yourself. Would you be willing to take the time, get some God points, so to speak, and write them a letter to say, I'm sorry? Would you write yourself a letter? Would you sit down with yourself and say, I'm sorry? Who's the person that you're mad at? You ain't spoke to them. Y'all been mad for forever, and ego keeps telling you, oh, it's okay. You don't have to speak to them. They did you wrong. What if you did move ego out the way and said, one, call them. If that's too much, then could you write them a letter? See, America has this whole holiday and the celebration of lights, the festival of lights. Hanukkah is happening now. Christmas will come. There'll be a solstice that'll come. And then we'll have Kwanzaa. And it's all about lights, which makes it so magical. But how can you change the way you think about your life and light it up some by letting go of the heaviness that you have because you're mad at this person or disappointed about this, or this child didn't do that, or this brother didn't do that, or this cousin didn't do that? Any of those places and spaces where you can create some freedom for yourself, you can get God points. Now, when I think of God points, all I think of is that it lifts your vibration. And it frees you from all the stuff that you're carrying around, all the stuff you've been holding against yourself, first and foremost, all the stuff you may be holding against God, first and foremost, too. Although God's big enough, God don't care about us being mad at God. All the stuff you hanging against your mom who didn't do this, or your dad who didn't do that, or who got a divorce, or who had a baby, all the stuff that gets in the way of you being and showing up as the most magnificent person you can be in your life. What would it mean for you to release it? To let the person know you're sorry. To let the person know you forgive them. To let the person know that you love them. Because all that's going to do is free you up. So if you change the way you think about your life, can you hold it as something magnificent? Can you hold it as an amazing gift that you've been given, that God has given you and is walking the journey with you, for that matter, is breathing your breath and beating your heart. No matter how despair it may seem, how much despair you may be, that your life is still something amazing, something special. You're that one-of-a-kind person on this planet. You're being given thoughts and ideals that only you are being given. There's nobody here like you. I used to always tell my clients, you're a one-of-a-kind design. And when we were young, we hated that. I think we kind of wanted to be we wanted to be in the group. But then as you get older, you realize you want to stand on your own. But what stops us a lot of times is our ego, what it's saying to us and how we look at our lives. So hopefully you can begin to look at your life from a place of wholeness, from a place of happiness, a place of oneness. Begin to change the way you think about you and your life and your happiness and what you can have in this life and what it can feel like. Those of you who are struggling with money, change the way you may be looking at to see what is it that you can do that people always say to you, oh, you do that so good, I would pay you for it. And whatever that was that they said that to, it's time for you to start doing that. They've been telling you all along they would pay for it, but you didn't think they were serious, so you didn't follow up on it. But this time of slowing down offers us so many opportunities to grow, to discover within ourselves, to get closer to that higher power, however we define it, to live in faith and just forget about fear, to stand firm, to make conscious decisions going forward on what our life is going to look like or can look like. I had to pause. I saw a motorcycle cop. He came around the corner. I'm going to be getting off this phone in a few seconds. Anyway, our lives have so much within them that if we're willing to at least look at them and change the way we think of them, not the way ego has us thinking about them, we might find some incredible jewels and diamonds and yummy, yummy wisdom right there within us. He made a right turn. So I want you this day, this morning, to change the way you look at your life. If you're not looking at it as whole and fulfilling and people are just dropping off stuff at a family's home over there. They're like the central place for this area where I live. And you take your books, you take canned goods, you take everything, and people just driving up, dropping off stuff. And then other people come by and pick up stuff. See, that's who we are. We wouldn't know that about ourselves if this situation wasn't happening. Because ego would probably tell us, oh, nobody wants this and nobody's going to help you. And nah. When the truth is, we can and will come together way more than we're given credit for. I'm going to get some stuff from my house. My trunk is full of stuff that I'm going to take over there to share on their table, to share with everyone else. But this was just a Monday wisdom, Monday mindset. Change the way you think about your life. You think about it. And you know deep down inside when it's quietly just you by yourself, what you look at, what you complain about, what you feel bad about, what you feel sad about, what you feel sorry about. Okay, I can't run into the garage. What you wish was this. Just look at the way it is right now and value it. Look at who you can release, who you can forgive, who you can say I'm sorry to, who you can say I love, and send them a card that says that. And maybe a $5 or $10 gift card. But you know at this point, I'm going to tell you, hold on to your cash. Your family is about seeing. Your family is about connections. It's not necessarily about the things we give them. More and more we're learning this living on this planet is not about things. It's about our heart and what we're willing to do for ourselves and our families first and foremost. And then the biggest challenge we've had is what we're willing to do when it comes to thinking about others, people we don't know, people we don't know anything about them, but we have to think about them and put a mask on just in case there may be some way we could contaminate them or they could contaminate us. That's the biggest jewel that we've been given on this journey. And I believe this journey will easily last till next March. We started with COVID in March of 2020. We will be with COVID until March of 2021, if not feeling comfortable by the summer of June of 2021. So just dig in, know that, get a rhythm for how you're going to live life, how you're going to think about it, what you're going to do, and live from that truth. Not the truth out there in the world. Live from the truth right there within you. And ego, E-G-O, edging God out. That's the part of us that thinks it knows everything, it can do everything, it doesn't need any help. But ask that part of us, can it make us breathe? Ask that part of us, can it regulate our blood? Ask that part of us, the ego, can it beat our heart? And its answer is going to be blank, nothing. So get clear about what's ego and be more connected to the power of the life that you've been giving. And change how you think about it. You have a magnificent life. It's not based on the things. It's based on your heart. It's based on your spirit. It's based on your intentions. It's based on your faith. It's based on your compassion for others. And those elements are what makes for a wonderful life, which is why I guess I used to always look at a wonderful life every year because he was so frustrated and so mad he was going to leave and go do this, this, and this. And he ended up staying in town, and, you know, things went bad and they stole the money from him and he's about to lose his business, and the town came to his rescue. And I would always look at that and think how amazing life really could be if we recognize the gems and the jewels in life are not the things that we have. It's the people in our lives. Take good care, have a great day, and know that's the key. That's the reason for the season. That's the reason for the virus, so to speak. That's the reason for everything right now, is to recognize it's not the things that bring us joy. It's not the things that bring us happiness. It's not the things that have people hopping on planes, traveling and putting their lives at risk. No, it's not that. It's the people themselves. It's the love. It's the contact. It's the compassion. It's our hearts. And that's what makes this an amazing time on the planet. It's probably one of the few times that nobody's worrying about, do we have the Gucci this, and do we need to go buy this, and do you have to go buy that because you don't have no place to wear it. That's money you get to keep in your pocket and redefine how you think about your life. And remember to get ego, any aspect of you that tries to edge God out, that thinks it knows more than God, that's better than God, that's stronger than God, however you define God. I define it by that presence that's breathing my breath and beating my heart, because I'm not. What is that inexhaustible tank that's giving me breath? Do you ever ask that? What's the inexhaustible tank that's beating your heart? That's what I want you to anchor it in. And when you look at your life, when I say change the way you think about your life, think about it like that. Is taking care of my very existence. And how do I honor that? Versus the chatter, chatter, chatter of the ego that keeps you in fear, doubt, worry, and concern. Take good care. Hashtag replay for those of you coming back around. Let me know what state you're in. Let me know if any of this resonates for you. And have a wonderful day. Bye for now.